Okay, Assalamualaikum everyone. So today we are going to continue our discussion about language functions and semantic structure. This is the third video in our systemic functional grammar introduction class. So previously we've discussed about ideational, interpersonal, as well as the textual meaning. And then, in order to interpret the meaning, okay, from the three functions of it, um, you have to understand how to do the data coding first. So, to express additional functions, the additional function is broken down into exponential functions. So after you express those will be realized in the wording through participants, processes, and circumstances. So, for example, we have the sentence John planted a vine in the greenhouse. I'm going to say, okay, back to the register concept first, standard mode as well as field. So it's going to be, we are going to identify the field first because field related is related to additional function. The field is going to be plantations, okay, but it's not enough only defining the concepts like that, but you have to understand not only the topic, but also you have to understand the content of it. Okay, nice. John planted a vine in the greenhouse. You are going to identify breaking down into exponential function that John is a person. And then what happened with John? Okay, he does an action. Oh, because this is past tense, so he did an action. What is it? Planted. Okay, nice. How about the object? Planted what? Object, right? A vine. A vine, just that? Actually, he planted a vine in the greenhouse. Oh, so we have the sentence in the greenhouse. So in the greenhouse, it's going to describe the location of there. And then we have so it's not enough by identifying like that, but it is important for you to handle from the systemic functional grammar perspective. So basically, when we try to identify the ideational function of particle, we are going to remember that the structure will be participant processes and circumstances. We have participant processes and circumstances. In this case, we have agent, agent because it is an active sentence shown, and then process. It's going to be planted, action, processes action, and then find is a goal. So it's participants. So both object and subject parties they are participants, and then circumstance is to explain the concepts, the whole concept. In the greenhouse, in this case the circumstances, location. Okay, that's the active sentence. How about the passive sentence? I have a sentence like your tiny hands are frozen. So before you identify, you have to identify the components, the object of it. How about the field first? Freezing. Okay, freezing, for example. Okay, and then that's not enough. How about the object? It's going to be hands. Hands. It means the object is plural, not singular. How about the attribute? So it's going to be tiny. Attribute is to explain, right? Okay, and then position by address is your, okay, to explain hands in this case. And then we have state, process state in the present form, or, and then attribute to explain the condition or the patient's is frozen. But again, you have to make it into systemic functional grammar. Um, so we have like passive sentence in this case. What you have to remember is if it is active sentence, it is participant process and circumstance. If it is passive sentence, it tends to be participant process and attribute. Okay, the pattern here will be a bit different in with the previous active sentence. Circumstance, attribute. Your tiny hands belong to the same category participants. It is the subject actually, and it has and the function as patient. Okay, patience. Okay, and then we have process of state. Why are tend to be state, okay, and then attributive, it is to explain the process of state. Usually we um we have like frozen. In this case, frozen is categorized as feature, okay, but um not in my class you are learning about this specifically. As long as you know like participant process attributive, participant process, participant circumstance, that's enough, because in this case you are knowing that function first, okay, you have to learn it later on. And then how about interpersonal function? When we talk about interpersonal functions, it mirrors the tenor parameter of register. Okay, so if you still remember tenor in the previous video, it deals with the social status, social relationship, and it is expressed through the speech functions, right? It is evident in two main ways: through verbal interaction and exchanges with others, through personal mediation or modulation of the main idea or content. So we are mostly, when we talk about personal interpersonal function, we are going to realize from mode or modality. Modality, you remember about modal, can, could, and so forth. So the function of it. It means that this manifestation speech functions will be expressed this way. For example, like command, keep out without subject, right? Turn left. Request, will you, could you, my eye, please, please. Okay, request. Situation, how about blah blah blah? How about making pancakes for tea? How about trying a different brand? Would you like? So a situation. Uh, how about and what about? And then we have the sentence, would you like and can I give? It means that it is an over. And then will, let this, may you never, long live. So it's going to be will in this case. Once you understand the structure here, speech functions, the structure, you are going to see the function. You have to remember, it's going to be command, it's going to be request, it's going to be situation, offer, or will. Another manifestation of the interpersonal, it can be seen from the statement or question or exclamation. For example, we have the sentence like this. The counselor has a police income tax. It's going to be like statement, right? Declarative sentence is a sentence. And then we have today only one train was late. It's a sentence. If we have WH question, it's going to be like question. How much will it cost? What's the time? What's expensive? Will you go by car or take the train? You already understand that will here will function over questions. And then exclamations. What a good idea. How stupid, for example, like that. So it deals with the exclamations. Through interpersonal function, a speaker expresses the ideational content of what is being said. Okay, and then we have language, another type of interpretation of the function, textual functions, is defined as the one whereby language serves as a mean to create text as opposed to mere isolated and disconnected sentences. So you already know that textual is related to the mode. If mode is talks only about um, written or spoken, but this will be embodied in the textual functions. What does the written text mean? What does the spoken text mean? So you are going to identify the thematic structure. Assuming that we have the sentence like this, actually, when you try to investigate, they have the same components. They hear, both. The computer, the computer, the computer, yesterday. Even though we have the same topic that they bought the computer yesterday, okay, in the field, the same context, but you are going to identify specifically. Okay, if we have like they bought the computer yesterday, the main the theme here is going to be they. So within buying computer, the explanation about buying computer and so forth, the emphasize point is the one who buy the one who bought the computer yesterday is them, not me, not the others. Okay, and for example, I have the sentence the computer they bought yesterday. It means that the goal will be the computer, not the other things, not the book, not the, for example, clothes. Okay, they bought what? They bought computer. So I'm going to put the emphasize the computer in the beginning of the sentence. The computer they bought yesterday. Or for example, because I'm going to emphasize the time, because for example, someone kept asking you, when did you buy this one? So you are going to emphasize yesterday. Yesterday, they bought a computer, not the other time. Okay, so within the field of um, within the field of buying computer, within the ideational of buying computer, we are going to identify specifically who buy or what to buy or when did they buy. It depends on that. Okay, so it depends on which one is the highlight one. Okay, the linguistic differences between the spoken and written text related relate primarily to differences in the thematic choices and pattern of cohesions. So I have another example related to mode. This is your phone bill, and you have to go to this. This is your phone bill, and you have to go to the post office to pay it, huh? By next Monday. That's what this box tell you, or they'll cut your phone off. It's going to be clearly seen that okay, the mode is going to be yes, paying bills, right? The first sentence is going to be spoken, and the second form is going to be written form. All phone bills must be paid by the date sound or service will be continued. Okay, spoken form and then written form. So what happened next with that? You are going to identify that all the component emphasize on the phone bills in the beginning of the sentence. So actually similar for the thing, right? Okay. Last but not least, I'm going to emphasize the relationship between context, meaning, and wording. So once again, language is used between context, certain context, and then you have to realize it, or if you have to embed, realize the language in the text form can be spoken, can be written, and then the text usually contain of meanings or semantic, and this it is and then it is embodied through lexical grammar wordings, and then in order to identify the meaning, semantic meaning, we have ideational, interpersonal, and textual meaning, three meanings. Ideational meaning, basically it is related to field what's going on, and in order to identify what's going on, you are going to analyze using the transitivity concepts, in which it has components of processes, participants, and circumstances. For the interpersonal meaning, it is closely related to tenor, social relations, and how to embody this. It deals with mode and modality. You are going to identify speech functions, speech role, and attitudes. And then the third meaning, that in order to understand the text, it deals with the text, it deals with the mode, the contextual coherence in spoken and written form. How to identify those? You are going to identify from the theme and cohesions. However, you are going to learn more transitivity, mode, and modal theme and cohesion in the functional grammar course or discourse subject. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.